So can we talk about when you went from Bootstrap to wanting to scale? I was very uncomfortable doing it myself. I talked to you about it and it didn't totally feel right to me because I just wanted more of a commitment than you were willing to give at that point in your life. Santosh was actually willing to do it. And I have just having someone who has been there over and over again is like, it's the greatest feeling in the world. There's nothing like someone telling you this is normal. Did you have that voice when you did it?
You know, it was two different discussions, decidedly. Discussion number one was, this can be a thing. If we don't make it a thing, somebody else is going to.
Right.
So let's make it a thing. Because the bottom line is, it's going to take, within a standard deviation of work, the same amount to make it a thing as to not make it a thing. It's not that much. Like going from 40 hours to 50 hours, it's not like going from 0 to 40. So you're in it already. The question is, what's your level of focus and intensity while you're in it? So the first step was that. It was, no, this is a thing that we are going to make it. We're going to own it. We are going to take that to the limits. When we decided to go from Bootstrapped and bring on institutional capital, that for us was a very different discussion. That was much more about an intellectual group that we wanted to be surrounded by, much more so than the financial side of things. We were bootstrapped. We were very profitable. We were not limited in any way by the financial constraints of the company as far as what we wanted to take on or how we wanted to take it on. But what we were limited by was our own experience set and our own industry lens. So every single day as a bootstrap company, the great news is you're the biggest you've ever been on Wednesday, and you'll be the biggest you've ever been on Thursday, and you'll be bigger still on Friday. But at the end of the day, you're only going to see what you've seen at the level you've seen it at. And you also have a bit of industry blindness, which is a good quality because it allows you to execute within your industry better than anybody because it's where you live. But if you're only in your industry, it also makes you very vulnerable to what's going on the periphery. And it also makes you vulnerable from the decision set you're using to guide and nurture this thing to its eventual conclusion. So when we started talking to Spectrum Equity, it became very apparent that we needed to partner with someone that had kind of, to your point, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and were going to be able to advise us on what that journey looked like. Now, what for us was hugely transformational was that transition of the bootstrap mentality to the institutional growth mentality. That when we were bootstrapped, every dollar we saved went to the bottom line and then just got divvied up. You know, it was, hey, let's not buy that because we can save the money and then we can have the money. That's super cool. When you move into that institutional realm, it's the dollars that are saved so that they can be reallocated to the growth initiatives that are winning. So it's not save the money to have the money. It is save the money to invest the money and keep feeding that growth wheel. And had we not made that transition, we would have headed right into COVID with a bootstrap mentality that I don't know what that future would have looked like. I know what it might have looked like. It might have looked like bootstrapped, oh my goodness, maybe playing a little bit scared, world's uncertain, what's everything going to look like? How do we do this? Maybe we would have been undercapitalized. We would have been underprepared for the hiring and the growth that COVID brought to our front door, that had we not been prepared to serve that as the world decided that digital was a primary and not an afterthought, I don't know that we would have been able to execute in those seasons as confidently if it was still just a bootstrapped growth approach. So that's the alternate reality, that if we live in a multiverse and I ever get to buy a ticket, boy, I want to watch what would have happened had we chosen that path, just because I'd be curious. But I think that it's something that you'll know when it's right because you'll be asking yourself different questions. And it's far more a personal psychological journey than it ever is a financial one. Because ultimately, if it's a financial one, you'll find that, by the way I evaluate businesses, and this is my dysfunction, it's nobody else's, if you're looking for institutional capital to fix your capital issues, you've got a fundamental flaw in your business, in my opinion. It means that you're building something in a way that you're either being lazy, you're being dumb, or you're being overly and unnecessarily ambitious for the season that you're in. If you need the money to fix your issue. That's my opinion.